What's up, Headless? Welcome back to the channel. So today, I have a special guest. I have Lilia Fire joining me in the video. So what we're going to do is I have constructed an amazing video, and we're going to go through, and Lilia is going to tell me what character from Game of Thrones has more screen time. It's going to be a fun little game, so you guys can go ahead and play at home as well. Let me know down in the comments, how many did you get correct? All right, Lily, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we're going to pull on up. And I tried to make a couple easy, but a lot of them are hard. At least I think they're hard. All right, so here we go. Who had more screen time? All right, so who had more screen time? We have Jon Snow versus Daenerys Targaryen.
Well, you're either starting out easy or this is a trick question. Because I think in Battle of the Bastards alone, he might have more screen time than her. So I'm going to go with Jon Snow.
So Jon Snow comes in at number 2 at 651 minutes. And Daenerys actually is right underneath him. But look at this difference. 524 total minutes. So that's quite a bit. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's funny because I think Daenerys in season 1, I feel like we definitely did not get a lot of that storyline until more toward the end. And it's just I always felt like season 1 was odd with her because of the fact that it just just like put you right into that area where she's like, you know, being given to Khal Drogo. And I remember watching that the first time. It was so confusing for me. I didn't know what was going on. But yeah, so it
just cut to those scenes, you know, and then came back. Cut to those scenes and came back
all the time. And like I just felt like she never actually was on screen long enough to like for me to understand what the heck was going on. Now by season 2, I got it, you know, but I always felt like that was one of the most confusing parts of the first season when I watched it. All right, so moving on to the next one, we have Gendry versus Tywin Lannister. What do you think on this one?
Ooh, this is a hard one because I feel like Gendry was there at the beginning with Arya a lot, and then he comes back later. So I think it's got to be Tywin.
All right, so we have Gendry coming in at 67 total minutes, and Tywin comes in at 79 minutes.
All right, that's pretty close.
Yeah, it's a close one. All right, next up we have everyone's favorite villain. We have Ramsay Bolton, and then Marjorie Tyrell. So what do you think about this one? Another tough one.
Yeah, I feel like they're close too. Ramsay's my boy, man. Unpopular opinion. I think it's got to be Ramsay.
All right, so Ramsay comes in at 77 total minutes on screen. Marjorie, 122 minutes total.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually, that one shocked me a little bit because I feel like when Ramsay, you know, it's funny because when we first get introduced to Ramsay, it's very quick, and you know he's kind of in it with Theon, but really I feel like we don't see him for a while after that whole scene with him making reek and all that. And she's in a lot of different scenes though. I mean, think about how often she's talking to her grandmother. She's talking to Cersei. Even Sansa to a point. Obviously, all the scenes with Joffrey. I mean, she communicates with a lot of different characters in the series. So yeah, I thought that one was interesting, and it's a big gap too. It's not even really close. Yeah. All right, next up we have Dario. Remember, he was recast, and this does count for both. Okay. And then we have the High Sparrow.
I think it's gotta be the High Sparrow. He's kind of forgettable, Dario.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan of Dario myself. I always thought that, like, again, the recasting part was weird for me, but I do like the second actor better. High Sparrow, 67 total minutes, and Dario, 90 minutes. I couldn't even. He's in it. He's in it more than Ramsay. Like, I was shocked when I saw that.
I am shocked at that.
I know.
That doesn't even seem right.
I know. And for some reason I feel like that's not even correct, but that's what I pulled up. One of these days I'm gonna have to like really make sure I go back and check that one, because that one was odd to me. I mean, we're
Yeah,
talking
because that's longer than Ramsay.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like 13. That's 13 minutes longer of being on the screen. Now, granted, Ramsay dies in season 6, right? Spoiler alert. You know, and Dario does have more of a role, you know, in but it's funny though, because doesn't she send him away?
Yes.
Man, I don't know if that one's right.
I know.
I feel like that one might be off. I don't know. I'm gonna have to double
Fake
check.
news, fact check.
Yeah, that one doesn't seem right to me, but we'll check it. But I guess right now we'll go Dario, just because that's what it says.
All right.
But all right, next up we have Jaqen Hagar versus Tommen Baratheon.
This one's tough. I feel like they both have the little spurts all the time. I'm gonna go with Jaqen.
All right, so Jaqen Hagar came in at 44 minutes, and we have Tommen Baratheon at 33 minutes. So that's not too shocking, though.
No, I feel like that seems accurate too.
Yeah, because Tommen really was not in it very much in the beginning until Joffrey actually dies. Anyways, I can't believe he has more than like 5 minutes total screen time in the first 3 seasons for the most part. All right, next up we have Mara Reed and your boy Khal Drogo.
Well, I feel like this was sad in actuality, because Khal Drogo should have had way more screen time. A star was born. But I think it's Mira.
So Khal Drogo had 47 total minutes, which I'll be honest with you, when I saw that, I'm like, really? Is it even that many minutes? But actually, Mara Reed only had 42 minutes. So Khal Drogo actually had more in one season. Plus, remember, he did have that tiny little whole flashback that Daenerys had, right? So, but yeah, so that was it was close. It was close. I kind of tried to make it like a trick question, because I knew that you would probably pick against Cal, because not knowing he was only one season. So that's kind of a trick question for me.
It just wasn't enough.
Yeah. All right. How about this one? The Waif versus 1-1.
Ugh, she's the worst.
Oh, yeah.
She's like one of my least favorite characters. But I think she has to have more screen time.
All right, so 1-1 comes in at 30 total minutes. The Waif, 27 minutes. So it's, again, very, very close. All right, we have Peter Baelish, aka Littlefinger, versus Jorah Mormont. So what do you think on this one?
I feel like they both have a lot of minutes.
Yeah, they're both in like the top 20 for sure.
Okay. I feel that when he's on screen, Jorah's on longer, but Littlefinger has more scenes, so I'm gonna go with Littlefinger.
All right, so we have Littlefinger has 197 minutes, number 15th overall. Jorah 224, number 10.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. All right, sister versus sister. Sansa Stark versus Arya Stark. They're both in the top 10.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, the stupid House of Black and White probably gave her way more minutes than we needed. I like Sansa more than Arya, another unpopular opinion, but I think Arya has more screen time.
All right, again, it's close. So Arya Stark had 405 minutes. Sansa, 418 minutes.
Wow.
Sansa has the 5th most of all of the characters. She is right after Cersei, who had 425. Wow. Yeah. I found that really actually shocking. I thought Arya for sure was in it more. Again, it's close. We're talking 13 total minutes. But I just feel like when Arya's on, she was always on more, because think of all the times that she was walking with a hound and all that stuff. So.
And as a kid, with all the sword fighting when Ned was still there and stuff like that, that surprises me.
Now, I guess the one thing that we got to remember too is it is screen time, so they don't have to necessarily be talking. Because Sansa is in a lot, season 2, cause she's always there with Joffrey and Cersei, and all that kind of stuff. So that probably has something to do with it as well. But yeah, again, it was close, but I thought it was interesting that she was number 5. All right, we have Samuel versus Braun.
Ooh, gosh. Are these, they have a lot of minutes too, both of them, yeah?
I think they're both in like the top. I'm pretty sure they're both in the top, like probably 20.
I'm going to go with Braun on this one.
All right, so Braun, he had 189 minutes. He came in 17th place, and he was like right below Brienne Tarth. Samuel, believe it or not, number 9 at 267 minutes.
Oh my God, I'm losing all my money on these bets.
Well, it's funny because Sam, I mean, you know, it's funny. He was above Jorah. He ends up being above like Varys and Theon. Like, those are some pretty big characters. Even the Hound is above. And I think what Sam does, I think he ends up passing a lot of these guys up though, like in the last 2 seasons, because we spent a lot of time with him. All right, next up, we have everyone's favorite king, King Joffrey, versus Giant's Bane over here.
Okay, I feel like this is going to be another trick because Joffrey's such a huge character, but he died in season 4, right? Season 4? Spoiler.
No. Spoiler alert again.
So, oh, and the red man is in it the whole way. I'm going to go with Joffrey, though.
All right, so Joffrey, it's funny. Joffrey, you know, if you look at this in the first like 3 seasons, Joffrey, I bet you is in the top 4 or 5. He has to be, right? But he finishes off at only 83 minutes, and he's number 33. And again, I think Tormund makes up for this in the last couple seasons when he really is more of a one of the main roles really with Jon's crew. And yeah, so he has 133 minutes. Tormund does.
Wow, that's way more. He does a lot of walking.
He does a
lot of walking scenes, you know?
Yes. All right, we have Yara Greyjoy, and then everyone's ladies' man, Podrick. Podrick Payne.
I think on this one, because I feel like Yara was only in a couple seasons, and Podrick was there the whole time. So I'm going to go with Podrick.
All right. So Yara had 92 total minutes. Actually made the top 30, believe it or not. Podrick, it was close, 78 minutes. So Yara actually ends up getting more. And again, I think it is because the last couple seasons, where Podrick, I feel like his was all with Brienne, and then after that whole little side quest or whatever with her was done, I feel like he kind of this wasn't in as much in the last seasons where she was definitely a bigger role. But yeah, well, you're nailing this.
I know. Did I even watch this show multiple times?
But again, I did make it where it was going to be not only a little bit tricky, but not like, you know, but they are close. I mean, it's not like we don't really have any that's like way, you know, ridiculous. And then we have Hodor versus Beric Dondarrion.
Okay. Right, so. I feel very confident about this one.
Okay.
It's gotta be Hodor.
All right, so Hodor had 63 minutes of screen time, and Beric just a little underneath, 54 minutes. So yes, you got that one right. Woo. Yeah, you know, and I actually found it funny that they both came in under an hour, because I thought for sure. Well, actually, no, I guess Hodor was a couple minutes over an hour. But again, I think Beric makes up a lot of his minutes because again, I feel like we don't see this dude for like 2.5 seasons, and all of a sudden he appears at the end again with the with the Brotherhood. All right, so next up we have a couple of the lady characters, and we have Osha and we have Shay.
Ooh, this is a hard one. I feel like they're both in it a lot.
Who was in it more?
I think I'm gonna go with Shay.
All right, so Shay was in it for 65 total minutes, and Osha was in it for 56 minutes. So you got that one. Very good. It is close again, though. But again, here I think that Osha makes up a lot of her time in the later seasons when Shay's not around, but Shay does have more. All right, we have Ygritte, and we also have Qyburn. Now again, Qyburn, you got to think about it. Qyburn was around a lot longer than she was, but I also feel like Qyburn was not in the first couple seasons very much. So what do you think on this one? What do you think?
I feel like it's on this one. I think it's got to be Egret.
All right, so
I just remember her way more than him.
yeah. So Egret, a total of 41 minutes, and then Qyburn. It's amazing, dude. Qyburn was in it for 63 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
Fake news.
But you got to remember that he was also hanging out with Cersei and the Mountain. So we did see him quite a bit. Again, in the beginning of the series, I barely remembered even who he was. And then we get him a lot. We almost get force-fed him at the end.
Yeah.
I missed Egret. I liked her as a character. I thought she was a great character.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Mr. Ned Stark himself and Grey Worm.
I mean, what an impact Ned had on this show that you think, he had so much screen time, but did he? I think it's going to be Grey Worm.
All right, so this one is super close. So Grey Worm, now I have a little tidbit on this right here too. So Grey Worm had 126 minutes. Ned Stark, 116 minutes.
Ooh,
But you got it. But it's funny because he actually has less, but Grey Worm is giving 20 minutes of screen time in the final episode of the series. So he passes him in the final episode because he got 20 minutes for some reason. Yeah, Ned, he ends up coming in like 27th place overall, and he, last 9 episodes. That's how much they featured him, in season 1, and which is why he's probably one of my top 3 characters that I like. All right, we have the Night King versus Renly Baratheon.
Gosh, I mean, the Night King is so huge, but I feel like we don't see him very often, except that the last episodes. So I think it's going to have to be Renly.
All right, so Renly was in it for 34 minutes. The Night King, believe it or not, this is crazy. 8 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, okay.
8 minutes.
I believe that.
How crazy is that? And I bet you more than half of that is probably in that last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actual screen time, only 8 minutes. I found that absolutely amazing. I was blown away by that. And then I was trying to get our character who we lost early, and but I couldn't trick you on that one. It was going to be hard. Anyone I picked, I think it was going to be hard. All right, guys. Well, that is all we have for you today. Let me know down in the comments, how many did you get correct? Would you be interested in seeing another one of these videos? House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Star Wars, whatever it may be. Let us know. Lily, thank you so much for joining me on this video. It was fun, something different. And again, I can't wait for House of the Dragon Season 3. We're only 2 years away. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to keep those heads on, and I'll see you guys in the next video.